but smile. And what is the cutest thing in my life right now? My puppy. My puppy is the most adorable little cute thing in my life. So let's start with Moostache. How are you guys doing today? We can do a baby dragon. Yeah. Okay, we'll start writing down the good ones. I'll do a baby dragon right next to him. Cool. Merry Christmas. And he got out. He got out. Moostache got out again. Oh, I gotta go get him in. He always does that right at the beginning of the stream. Hey, baby. Baby. How'd you get out? You're so fucking cute. How are you getting out? How? You're like a freaking Houdini, man. I'm right here, honey. Tug of war. Every time he hears me start streaming, he's like, it's time to escape. Let's do this. And he gets out, like, of his little encounter. I still don't know how he gets out. You want to see my dog? See my puppy. Look at that little poop machine. Little cutie. Now, sit. Sit. No, he just wants my hand. He's only like a 9-week-old puppy, so he's learning. Slowly learning. Let's see. Hey. Let's play tug of war. All right, so yeah, he's definitely like he's not gonna be contained for long when he's older. I know that much. I'm like starting to be like, oh shit, like he is learning really quickly how to escape things. So it's gonna be fun because all I have is time. Like I have nothing but time. But so it's gonna be really fun to be able to like construct like new things for him to not be able to get out. And then just like see it as a little game and like teach him and train that since he's really good at solving puzzles. You use that instead of like punishing him, right? Like you don't punish the dog for doing something great. Like they're doing something way beyond the capabilities of another dog. So you have to like learn to reward that. You need to learn to give that like a kind of like with teaching in general, right? Any sort of teaching. Like if you find that like a student of yours or somebody that you're training or something is very capable at something that's not quite usual, instead of like shaming it for him, you always want to grow that. You want to like foment it so that they feel like they are empowered instead of feeling like they're less for being able to do something different. Like it's all about like the mindset that you provide the person. I saw my dog escape on a camera and get back in thinking he wouldn't notice. I can imagine this little dude doing that. But right now he's tiny. Right now he's still a little baby boy. He's still just having fun, like exploring and learning what he can and get away and not get away with. Just a little baby. No, like when I got him at first, I was having a panic attack. Like I was like, I have wanted a dog for a very long time, but I've never really like been the pets guy, right? I've never like my sister had been the pets person in the family, like, and my brother had been the dog person in the family. Like I had never really like been the person with the pets. So I was terrified that I might not give him a nice enough life or like that I would not be able to feel the things that my brother and my sister feel for their animals, because I've never felt like that close to an animal. I've always seen pets as pets, not like babies or anything like that. But it wasn't until I actually saw this little poop machine. That and then when you realize that you have to take care of them, right? Like the first time that you have to actually do something for them, and I had to like rescue him. Like we rescued him from a breeder dude that was like mass breeding people like dogs. So we rescued him from that, and he needed help. Like he needed medical attention. He had like obstructed like like bowels and stuff like that from the shit that they fed him, and once you start taking care of animals like that, or like anything like that, be it a person, be it an animal, be it I don't know, a house, anything, a car. That's why people get attached to like vehicles and stuff like that too, because they're fixing them, right? And as men, we like to fix things. We like to solve things. And when we do get to manage to finally solve something, it makes us feel really good inside. So like the whole nurture part of like a fatherly like thing, like I don't understand it completely because I will never if until I have a kid, but I'm starting to understand why people get pets. And that's like a really nice realization to have even at my 40 years of age. A coping friend. Uh, See, I don't see it like that. I just see it as something that distracts me from everything else in life. And that's not a bad thing. Like, I see him as something that allows me to think outside of myself. And even though it's not necessarily like, it's not a baby or anything like that, so I'm not going to get like overwhelmed by a puppy. And the puppy doesn't talk back later. The puppy will always just be happy, joyful, and I don't have to ever deal with sass or drunk driving or like anything like that. I always find the weird combination of something creepy or something slightly not cute combined with something cute is like the most epic combination of things that you can combine. The only combination that beats that is sexy and cute. So, like, to me, in my opinion, this is completely my opinion. This is not anybody else's opinion. This is my opinion. But drawing something cute with a sexy girl or a cute girl or a pretty girl is just like my ideal formula for drawing that makes me super happy. So being able to draw a cute animal and then draw like a pinup, like a pinup or something like that next to it is like, to me, is the best. Teaching the touch command is the best thing I've ever done. Oh yeah, no, I've been I guide him not through touch, but I whenever I double tap anything, he goes to that direction. So that's something that I geared him to do really quickly. So that's what helped him with his crate training. That's what helps him with like feeding times. That's what helps him know that he shouldn't do something. Like it's the double tap. See, he just stopped right now completely. What he was doing, he's like, "Oh, I can't get to the table, Dad. What are you doing? You're confusing me." And then he goes back to like chew his toy. Because like, "Stop confusing me, Dad." Can you make my PFP? I don't know what PFP is, and I'm not going to make your profile pictures. I'm not going to draw your anime characters, and I'm not going to draw you. How about that? I'll just leave that completely straightforward right there, man. Like, I am not that person. How do you draw a body again? Well, a body, I have come to understand that the human body is a big bunch of overlapping shapes with each other. The human body in itself is just a ton of just overlapping lines. And if you learn how to overlap them, it becomes relatively simple to be able to draw it. When you overthink it, it becomes incredibly difficult to draw because the body itself is very complex. it's very complex, right? The human body has so many body parts. It's like insane how complex it is. So trying to master everything right away is really hard. Learning, we can draw Santa eating some cookies. Santa has probably lost a little weight, but we'll give him a belly anyways. So his coat is going around him. His clothes would probably be a little baggy. He probably has... Okay, so this is how you find the head, right? You go and you find the back of your body, which is your spine. You trace around your shapes to find that backing, and then that's where your spine is going to come up. Your spine is going to give you the volume to the front of the spine is how you draw your faces, because your spine is the back of your head. You got distracted? I get distracted a lot. I get distracted quite a bit. I have horrible ADHD. His coat would be nice and big. It wouldn't be nice and clingy to him. So it wouldn't look so weird. And then he's going to be like, just one more cookie with his pinky up. His other hand would be, I'm not going to guess where the other hand is. I'm going to actually draw through it so I can see how I would get there. Right? Like, don't guess. Stop guessing. Guessing is if you're guessing, you still don't know what you're drawing. And if you're guessing, you still don't know what you're drawing. And that's like the very basic guideline that you should abide by. If you are drawing something and you're guessing where it goes, you don't know where that is drawn. You don't know how that's drawn. So study that. Okay? When you don't know something, you study it. You don't back away from it. You don't go like, ooh, I'm not going to draw hands. I'm just going to hide them behind the person. I'm going to draw like legs foreshortened so I don't have to draw them long. Right? I'm going to draw them like that because I don't know how to draw an actual leg. And I don't know how to draw hands, so I'm going to hide it. Right? Don't do that. If you find that you are doing that because of that, well, that's when you go, I'm going to learn how to draw that stuff so that I don't have to feel like I don't know how to draw something, because that's a weakness, and we don't want weaknesses in our skill sets. So if you don't know how to draw something, you focus heavily on learning how to draw that in every way possible so that you can actually understand it, regardless of how you end up doing it. There's a quadrillion ways to be able to understand legs. Okay? Quadrillion. You can do every basic shape possible has an option to learn how to draw legs with it. If what constitutes your fancy is more like a box, there's ways to learn with boxes. For both hands, feet, everything. Okay? There's boxes, there's oblongs, there's line work, there's gesture, there's everything. There's so many different ways to be able to draw these things. So many that you just have to find the one that makes sense to you. Get uncomfortable, that's how you grow. Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. That is a great way of putting it, honestly. If you're too comfortable, then you haven't pushed yourself in a while. How do you draw the torso? Well, the torso is drawn in 2 sections. Right, Moostache? How many sections? 2? 1 or 2? 2. There you go. Good boy. I know. Here, play some more Take Away. All right, so the torso is built by 2 sections. It's built at first by your rib cage. And it's built by your hip bones. Those 2 sections are what build your human structure. This guidelines give you the guidelines for the placement for everything, but that is essentially the 2 components that comprise a body. So when you combine these, you end up with a body system. When you learn how to bend a beanbag, when you learn how to just bend this middle shape, you end up with ways to pose your characters. By learning how to bend this middle line and create volume from this, you can start drawing characters from that. Once you understand that this body part right here can be divided into 3 parts, and then using the bottom part for your legs, the middle part for your stomach, and the upper part for your chest, you can start dividing things into more anatomically correct sections. So once you master 1, divide it into 2, and then when you want to go on to a different styling, you go on to 3. That's my blanket, buddy. That's not your blanket. Eat your parrot. Play with the parrot. There you go. Eat the parrot. So that is essentially what happens with your body. Like, once you slowly build it up, you can start from a scratch. You can start from a circle. Right? If you want to do like little chibi bodies, all you need to do is learn to do this. That's all you need for a little chibi body, right? For like a little anime character with like really tiny bodies and stuff like that. All you really need to do is divide it into 4 and draw little nubbies coming out of them. Yay. So that's step 1. That's stage 1 of drawing bodies. And you can use that for little animals. You can use that for anything you want. Okay? So that is literally the easiest way to draw a body. From a circle, from a sphere. When you start making this a little longer, you have to move those circles a little closer to the edge because they no longer can be that big. Right? So you end up with a little bit more space. You can draw a circle inside. So you can learn how to pivot things. So you end up with this little shape. This little shape, again, can be used for simple structures, or you can use this for more complicated structures. So it doesn't have to be super simple. It can actually start getting a little bit more intricate. The way that you learn to move this is by taking that middle circle and learning how to rotate the top shape around. And you learn how to move the bottom shape around. What up, Wes? So as you learn how it's just pivoting around that midsection, now you can start playing around with where your legs go. Okay? Now doing that very simple exercise will help you rotate and pivot around this midsection. And that midsection can always easily be attached to the hips. So this midsection in general is your hips and your belly button. So that's section 1 and 2 of your body. And all you need to do is add section 3, which is your pectorals and your collarbone. And you can start building characters like that too. So that is essentially the way that I approach it. This is how I approach posing. And then whenever I want to actually get a character that's not necessarily chubby, well, you build the character like that first because it's easy to build it like that. And then you just taper in. If you want like a sexy girl or you want like a big muscular guy, you can make that bigger, right? You can just modify it from there. Like once you understand the basic, then you can go into different variations of it. So you're gonna have every possibility for every body type, regardless, just by starting with that base shape. If I want a superhero, I can make this part a lot bigger, these a lot smaller, and then I have myself more of a superhero persona. Okay? So it's a very easy way to be able to incorporate different body types really, really quickly and then learn how to move them too, because you'll be able to just move points around and make things very cool. You won't be so relegated to drawing the same shit all the time. So that's my approach to posing and bodies and general aspects of like general character creation. That is how I figure out my bodies. So I go from a simple little sphere to adding a pivot point to just learning how my body conforms and then just learning how to use that and pivoting around that to make it a little bit easier for me to be able to draw non-static poses. Right, Moostache? Right. Exactly. Damn right. All right, so any questions so far? Any questions at all about this? If you guys have any questions about what I'm doing right now and what like how I get to what I'm doing, then please let me know, right? We want to make sure that we understand it as good as we possibly can before we move on to the next section. Know what? It doesn't make sense? Okay. All right, so remember, the circle that you draw initially is sections 1 and 2 of how your body connects. You draw your legs, and that's what gives you your hip bones. Your hip bones allow you to have perspective for that body part. And then when you learn how to divide things and overlap them, you can start drawing things like legs and feet very, very easy from there. Your collarbone comes from that little circle you draw at the top of your rib cage. You're going to draw 2 triangles coming to the sides. That is your collarbone. That is that muscle that is right there in the front of your body with your pectoral muscles and stuff, right? Because you're buff. You know that muscle right there? That's like bone? That is what you're drawing when you're drawing these guidelines. You're drawing these back muscles and you're drawing these guidelines in the front. It's also drawing that connecting point to your shoulder. So your shoulder is going to come from there. Your head is going to come up like a cylinder from here. Now, that doesn't mean that your head has to stay that size, right? That's just an average head. If you want the character's head to be bigger, you can take that circle and taper it up and make the head considerably bigger, but you still have those connecting points. So you're not losing the guidelines. You're not losing the guidelines that help you find the rest of your body parts. That is the important part. What? I'm going to put you outside. You want to go outside? Yeah, you want to go outside. All right, let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Probably have to poop. You always have to poop. He parkours. He parkours out of his playpen. Like the little dog is so like agile and smart. Like I love it. It's so cool. He's like a Labrador retriever, like a cup, but in like a little tiny size. Oh my God, man, you're good. Why don't you do tattoos? Funny you say that. Funny you mentioned tattooing because someone's teaching me how to tattoo. So someone's gonna teach me starting next year. Someone's gonna teach me how to tattoo. So it's going to be it's in the works. It's not Cavalier King, and I'm not gonna mention who is helping me. Because a lot of tattoo artists have a lot of issues with me learning how to tattoo for some reason. They know that I'm gonna share my knowledge with absolutely everybody. So they have I've gotten like actual threats. I've gotten threats from people, and it's weird because there's a lot of courses about tattooing online, but I've gotten threats from tattoo artists because they just don't want me to show everybody how to tattoo. And it's so fucking dumb. So that's why I don't want to reveal the person that is helping me. And that is why it's not going to be revealed until that person dictates it's okay for me to do so. Because I don't want them getting persuaded out of it. And I don't want them to feel like they are gonna be harassed for helping me learn something new. Yeah, it's BS. Yeah, they're scared. Like they feel like if I teach a lot of people how to tattoo, their industry is gonna like mess up or something. You know, you're gonna oversaturate the market. Blah blah blah. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna train people, teach people how they can follow what they want to do. Like you don't get exclusivity to tattooing just because you did a apprenticeship. You don't get exclusivity to that world just because you learned a certain way. No. That's not how it works. No, old traditions, old gatekeeping traditions in the tattoo industry have kept it stagnant for so long. So there's very few outliers that create really awesome artwork outside of like the normal norm. Like it's, you do get amazing artists, but it's far and few and in between that are doing anything original or anything that's innovative. So to me, it's just because of the stagnation, because nobody ever wants to pursue any other styles outside of what's already established. Neo-traditional, American traditional, tribal. It's just like, dude, no, it's just a design. Like the moment that you keep on thinking that like those styles are just the only ones you can do, like you're stagnating your own industry and you just don't understand it. Like, you don't understand that you're killing your own industry by just not opening up to other avenues and drawing other things, or being able to label art as other than like, oh, I think that's just neo-traditional stuff. Oh no, that's just traditional stuff. Like, nah, dude, like, you guys have such the entire world of illustrative proper like possibilities in front of you, when you guys are relegating yourselves to like like to a tiny, tiny fraction of that. And that just makes me so, it makes me laugh. It actually makes me laugh, because it's just like the close-mindedness of the industry sometimes is kind of like ridiculous. Tattooing takes years of training and practice. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, no, no. I understand that. I know that it's hard. It's a completely different technique. It's like saying, oh, just because you can draw in pen, you can paint. No, just because you can draw with pencil, you can, I don't know, do calligraphy. No, it's not the same. I understand that. I am fully aware of that. Your insight is thankful, but it's already accounted for. It's not the first time I venture into another art form, like at all. Anything that you want to get good at is going to take time, but guess what? I'm a quick learner. I'm a very quick learner. And the beauty of it is I have a lot of knowledge. I have a lot of knowledge already. So I'm not scared to be able to like, oh, apply what I already know to something new. I don't need to go and redraw like a million skulls and noses and, I don't know, roses and stuff like that. Like a lot of people would think that they need to do. Like, I don't need to go through those steps. So I'm not going to go through a traditional apprenticeship because I don't need it. And most of the time, they don't teach you shit anyways. They make you work for free for a couple years, and then maybe if you're lucky, they let you tattoo. That's literally how most that I know, and I've been around the tattoo industry a lot. And that's mostly how they treat people. That's how they treat their people. Like, I'd say a vast majority of the tattoo shops, as opposed to the outlying ones that don't do that, very few outlying ones don't do that shit. Because it's ingrained in the culture. It's ingrained in the culture that you have to treat someone like shit, apparently, before you can teach them. Because you guys, I don't understand that reason at all. Like, it makes no sense to me. It makes absolutely no sense. Why would anyone want to do anything for you when you treat them like shit? Make them clean a bathroom with a toothbrush, right? Like, what? No, you're going to get punched in the face. Like, that's literally it. But it's not even a respect thing. It's just a matter of, I'm a talented artist that just wants to learn a new art form. I don't need to get abused to be able to do that. And I don't need to go through 2 years of unpaid training to do it either. If I can find someone that's willing to do that, great. Ask the military that. Yeah, that's another reason why I'm not in the military. There's a reason I'm not doing some things that I don't do. Like, I just don't do situations where you have to do things a certain way specifically because that is the way. There is no other way. You can't do it any other way. Like, ugh. It just makes me want to like again, get in the industry so that I can understand it, so that I can make my own thing about it. I have multiple tattoos. I have a ton of tattoos. I love tattooing. Now, can we do Santa expressions today? Yeah, we can do some Santa expressions. I was gonna do like a D&D, like monster chest, but a gift. There are certain things that I just love doing, and I absolutely love making people understand that it's for everybody. There's no exclusivity in your art form just because you've done a certain thing or other. it's just my goal in life to eliminate people that gatekeep. And that's art schools, and that's going to be other industries that I actually find appealing, that I want to learn, that gatekeep information. I'm just gonna go in and I'm just gonna find everything and just share it. That is literally, that's my goal. That's gonna be my thing. That's not a pencil. Oh, these pencils are just, I got them at like these are just colored pencils. Like, they're not anything special. They're big ones, I guess. I got them in a thrift shop. So I got a bunch of stuff in a thrift shop. I got like a little pack. I got like a box, and it had like a bunch of different pencils. So it had like some watercolor stuff, some really dried up pencils. Yeah, so it's, you got a little bit of everything in there, and we've been just playing with that. Let's draw something with pencil real fast. Art school was rough. Yeah, art school's rough, man. Art school isn't easy. Like, the people that think that art school is gonna be a blast, they're easy because they've drawn before. I laugh at I laugh at them. It's so much more. It's so much more than just learning to draw. Like, you need to learn to network. You need to learn to like socialize around introverts so that you can actually get jobs and stuff. You need to learn to sell yourself. You need to learn to actually like feel confident. There's so many things that go on. Like, in like the whole concept of going to school for art, that it's much more than just drawing. Drawing is like probably the least important part of the whole process of art school. Let's try to draw with a little bit of contrast. So when you want to draw something that looks a little bit more like realistic, or with a little bit less lines, so less illustrative, just eliminate the lines. Try to eliminate the lines as much as possible. Right? At this point, I'm creating the edge of my shape by just adding darkness to the background. I'm not adding a line work. I added some lines right here for guides, but you'll see really quickly how I fade them out. If you want to get a more like illustrative look, you have to learn to eliminate the lines from your designs. And that's through contrast. Learning how something dark makes something light pop out more. That is going to take a while, because that comes with understanding the facets of your face and how shadows work and basic shapes. So that's normally why I teach this way. I teach this way through volume, right? So that this becomes easy. That's the reason that I teach that. If you learn to draw the way that I teach you, this becomes really easy later. Pencil is so easy. Like, once you draw with pen for a year, pencil becomes so easy to play with. And then let's add some highlights. Just very little highlights. There you go. That's my face in the morning before coffee. In my ebooks aren't educational materials. My ebooks are more like to help you break out of your art block sections. Like, if you ever feel like you are completely limited and you don't know what to draw, they're entire books with sketches like these, right? They're entire sketchbooks with, and like, just filled to the brim with sketches. So they're meant to have you just flip to a random page, go into a section and be like, oh, cool, I want to draw a ducky. Yeah, let's draw a ducky. And then just have you either color it, you can just draw over it, you can do anything you want to it. And my books are meant to be drawn on. Like, this is what I do with my sketchbooks. Here, let me show you. What I do with my sketchbooks, for example, this beautiful one by Serge Perelt, what I do with them is I draw inside my sketchbooks. I use my sketchbooks for reference. I do this. I do this all the time. So I go into my sketches, in my sketchbooks, and I'm like, start analyzing things. Like, how is the eye shaped? Okay. What's the eye ratio to eyebrow ratio? 1:1. Cool, that's good to know. And then one more above that, that's the eyebrow. Awesome. Little things like this is the way that I learn. I constantly go in and I study how people draw their things. Because I understand that knowledge is power. Knowledge and understanding of different concepts is very important as you are progressing in your art career. So when you see something that's appealing, you need to see how that person built it. You need to see that. You need to be able to dissect it so that you can eventually make it your own. And when you have art books like this, you have an entire collection of them. You have an endless amount of abilities to be able to draw from, because these books are littered. Any art book that you get. Let me grab another one. If you get something like this, right? Like caricatures or whatever, any book that you get, all that is it's available to you. So you can go in here and draw over these things. Right? I can go in my book and I can draw over it. Like, why am I scared to do that? I don't know. But I can go in here and I can practice these things to see how they would work with what I do. Right? If they work and they look good with what I would style, then maybe I look and I actually pay attention to this. So there's certain aspects of learning that work well for me. And this is one of them. It's actually going in and drawing on my actual books so that I can see how they're using that knowledge. Is this the book? No, this isn't my drawing book. This is just a random book that I had for caricatures. So it's just, again, if you have issues figuring out something, you have access to draw on these things. You can draw them with pencil so you can erase them later if you want to, right? You can do that if you really wanted to. You have like a redraw thing. You can practice endless amounts of faces with the same book. So use your books as a learning tool so that you don't have to worry about how somebody comes up with something. Like, you can literally just see right here and then start drawing on it. Be like, okay, cool. Like, how did this person break this shit down? Okay, cool. Start guiding yourself. And you, like, this book has like little breakdown sections, so you can do that, but you can do that with absolutely any book. Let me grab another. Another! Let's do Anna Catfish. This lady is amazing. So let's say that you wanted to learn how to draw, I don't know, any of these guys. Zoom in. I would go in, I would find the volume in it. See how the character shape is. So this is more like a box with a little oval. So box, oval. It's about half, and then I can draw my features in there. And then little by little, you end up in a situation where you can draw the features that you want from the characters and the designers that you want. But you should really only do this after you learn how to control volume so that you can learn a little bit quicker. And then you apply your own little stylization to the things, even if it's as simple as just adding a highlight, and see how that would apply to the way that you draw. Is that appealing to you? Is that intuitive for you? And then little by little, you'll just get so many different pieces of knowledge inside of you. And I do that with every book that I have. Any single time I find like an appealing art style, I just buy that book so that I can draw it. All right. Back to our lesson. Yeah, so pencil, yay. The only reason I don't draw with pencil more is because it gets really messy. But it's a super simple way to be able to like create things. What was the name of that book, Rod? It was Catfish. It's a 2014 Anna Catfish sketchbook. I'm a huge fan of Kim Jong-gi. Oh, dude, yeah. I'm so sad that he passed away. Yeah, he passed away before I could like pick his brain. Because at one point I want to be able to draw like him. I want to be able to just draw like random things from a pen, like, and have it be like all epic. And he'd draw some random stuff too, dude. Like he had some wild, crazy imaginations. One day. I was able to see him several times, but did not pick his brain. He offered some of his brain. Oh man, like if you ever get the chance for any professional in any field and any sort of topic, if they ever are willing to share any of their knowledge with you, just absorb it, regardless of what it is. Just take it and absorb it and just sink it in, man. Like a lot of people don't understand that being at the top of anything, any field, be it like sewing or be it like playing a sport or be it an art or anything, anybody that's at the top of those fields is normally incredibly talented. Like whenever you go into any niche, any hobby, anything, right? When you see the people at the top of those people are incredibly talented. And then you see a ton of people trying to get there. Right? Everybody's trying to get there, but there's normally a couple people at the top that are just above everybody else in skill or talent or something or another. So to be able to get there, you need to have knowledge. It's not just about skill. It's a lot about knowledge, about knowing things. And if somebody up here is willing to be like, hey, look at how I got here. I want to say it to everybody. You listen, dude. You pay attention. You like, because it's normally really hard to be a top person in any field. Any field. So if somebody's willing to give that knowledge for free, especially, it means that that person's just willing to share. If they're charging, then it's mostly going to, I don't know, man. It's really weird because people that charge for their courses, right? People that charge for their knowledge, they might be knowledgeable. but they're always going to look for another way to profit from that knowledge. So they're going to give you a course, but they're not going to give you all the info. And then they're going to do a follow-up course to not give you all the info. And then they're going to do a follow-up to a segment, to a review, to a whatever. So a person that's into it for money will try to milk that as much as possible to be able to get as much money as they can from it, right? It's just logical. That's just how that approach works. If a person's going to do it for free because they're just happy to do it, like this person right in front of you teaching you right now, a person that is just happy to just be like, ta-da, take it to the world, I try to cram as much information, like all this, into one section because I want you guys to have all of it. I want you guys to have everything, and I want to be able to get it out to you as fast as possible. So all that information, and then I do multiples of those, which would be the comparison to a person that is literally trying to milk every little piece of information into several little sections. So when a person's happy to and willing to give knowledge, accept it because it's going to be much more complete knowledge than a person that's trying to milk you for money for it. It's just how it works. It's just human nature. So luckily for you, it doesn't take many people like me to be able to make a difference. Normally, the industry has to have a balance, right? You have to have the balance of people that want to make money and people that want to grow the community. There is a section in between where you can do both. And that's where I find myself right now. I can make money with selling books and making money from TikTok and like Instagram and stuff like that. So I make a little bit of money from that. Not enough to pretty much pay a lot of things, but it pays for most of it now. So now I can help the community while making money. So therefore, I want to do it more and more and more and more. And this will help me grow more and more and more and more. And then it becomes this perfect synergy of balance. It's just, this is a visual representation of how I would do it. So you need to find the thing that helps you make money, but also the thing that makes you joyful, happy, and helps you grow your community. Because your community is the people, that's your people, man. Like, you should always aim to make your community better. Like, regardless of you being a part of it or not, that's your people. Everyone that draws, every cartoonist out there is my people, right? Every young person that's trying to get into animation, that's my peoples. Every single person that's like struggling right now, trying to like make it as an artist because they are so passionate, they want to do that for the rest of their life. That's my people. So I have to look out for my people in the way that I can. And by giving you guys free lessons every day, by giving you guys videos to access online, giving you guys access to knowledge that maybe you wouldn't get anywhere else, that is my way to give back to all of you for that amazing career in life that you guys have helped me have. And I've had a nice, lovely career because of you guys. So I give back because I've been given a lot. And that is what you should do. If you have had the ability to succeed in this field, you give back to the people that haven't gotten there yet so that you can actually help them achieve what you've done. You don't want to keep the highlight. You don't want to be at the top by yourself, man. Like, it's so sad and lonely to be at the top by yourself. You don't want to do that. If you have to be at the top, let it be because you brought everybody along with you. Because you gave it everything you could, and everybody's like rooting for you because you know that you are helping other people along the way. That is what makes me like incredibly happy to wake up every morning and teach you guys how to draw something new or talk to you guys about something deep like this, you know? Like, to me, this is valuable because I know that this information is something that I wish I would have received. I wish that I would have had this when I was younger. right? I went and I struggled through years, countless years of just uncertainty and like not knowing if I should give up, not knowing if my artwork was worth it, not knowing if I could actually progress, not knowing the steps that I needed to take to get better. And then there was nobody there to guide me to that. So I do that for people because I wish that would have been done for me. And that's still something I wish I could find, like at this stage in age, even at 40 years old with 20 years of a career, I wish I still had a mentor. I still wish that I had somebody that was above me that was able to like tell me if I'm doing things right or wrong. But I don't have that. I don't have access to that. At one point, you stop being able to have access to that because you just don't. A lot of other artists at my level don't like sharing their knowledge. So it's not like I can go and like ask, hey, will you share your trips with me? No, they won't. Not at this stage, at least. Oh yeah, I'm old, dude. That's my face. You're great. Don't stop. No, I know I'm good. I know I'm great. I'm doing fine. Like, I love what I do. I'm not complaining about that. I'm not even complaining, really. It's just more like a matter of like, just giving you guys a little insight as to like what the brain of your teacher is also thinking. I'm also thinking about growth. I'm also thinking about like wanting to be better and improving and stuff like that. Without the resources, it becomes really hard, and I have to do it on my own. I have to teach myself. I have to train myself, which I've learned how to do, but it's still like, I wish that I didn't have to do that. It would be so much easier. Watson's telly, teachers are, what? I have no idea. Like, sometimes you guys type things that make no sense. It's okay. We studied art. We didn't study typography, and we didn't study like linguistics. We went in to be artists. I don't expect anyone that wants to be an artist to be a mathematician or a linguistics expert. But I do need to be able to read your comments, so just be mindful of that. Oh yeah, Watts Atelier. Yeah, yeah. Jeff Watts Atelier in San Diego. Yeah, I've heard of them. I'm not gonna go pay $1,000 a semester to have someone tell me that the way I'm drawing is wrong. I've met a lot of people that have gone there, and they get taught really good. It's a great school if you want to go into fine art. They teach you a very specific way to draw. And yes, I have been I have followed their career. I followed their school a lot because a lot of the people that I trained that went to the zoo I still go there as, like complimentary lessons for their life drawing and stuff like that. So it's a nice school. It's expensive. And that again, it's the reason why I do what I do, so that people don't have to spend all their money on a class teaching you how to shade or teaching you how to draw the face. Like just learning very basic concepts should not cost thousands of dollars. This should not cost an arm and a leg, making you decide if you should pay rent or go to class. That's the problem with art, like art schools. It's that they are so incredibly expensive for what they give you. Not saying that it's not worth it, but it's gatekeeping through a shit ton of money access, right? If you don't have the money, it just becomes a pretty like a rich boy's privilege. Like that's literally it. If you put a money price tag on this shit, it just becomes a privilege of the rich. That literally becomes it. Like you can only be successful if you have parents with money that can help you pay for that shit. Or if you have a really good job. And if you have a really good job, I don't understand why you would be going into art. You're probably not geared towards that anyways. You probably already have a more stable career. Then you can use that free time as your hobby and probably have more fun with it than you would as a career. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just It's just interesting how things work. But I don't like the whole concept of charging people a massive amount of money just to learn how to draw the facets of the face, or learn how like the head is supposed to be a certain angle, or to learn the proportions that are meant to be for realism, or the proportions that are blah 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 blah. So I don't think that anyone should pay that much money for this. I think there should be dedication. I think that you need to put a lot of time into it, but I don't think you should go bankrupt or have to decide if you can or not just because it's inaccessible through you money-wise. So yes, the Jeff Watts Atelier is probably an amazing school. Amazing school. It's probably a top-notch school. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but again, it's inaccessible to 90% of the people because they can't afford it. So why even support that? Having time to do art is a privilege on its own. Yeah, unless you try to make it your full-time job, and then you're doing it as your job. The only reason that you think like, oh, it's a privilege is because you haven't do you think that a plumber sees it as a privilege to be able to like do plumbing? Or a lawyer sees it as a privilege to like take on a case? No, it's just part of their job. So if you don't see it as your job, as you see it as your hobby, if you see it like something that you do on the side, then yeah, of course you're not going to have enough time to draw because you're not giving it the prioritization that you need. But a person that's trying to take this seriously and actually do it as a career, they're going to have to find the time to draw and create things because that's the only way you're going to make money. So there's a very big difference in a person that's trying to take this as a career and a person that's still trying to work another job and trying to financially fund his art, which essentially at that point becomes a hobby. Not saying it's a bad thing to have a hobby and not a bad thing to do work for it on your own time. That's never going to be a bad thing. But there's a big differentiation between you having to wake up to do art to pay your living and waking up and not doing art because you just don't feel like it. There's a middle ground. Of course there's a middle ground. There's always balance, right? Like we were talking about. Balance. So there's always going to be balance. Some people, that balance tends to be more towards working their 9 to 5 than working for their own self, right? So they work a lot more than 9 to 5 and then balance. And then that person has a little bit of time for themselves. If you work less on things like your 9 to 5, well, guess what? You have a lot more time to work on the things you love, right? And if the things you love make you money, then you can eliminate the 9 to 5 and then make that the entirety of your sustainability. So that is the goal, to reduce the things you don't want to do, increase the things you want to do, so that eventually the things you want to do are the only things you're doing. And then that's how you find yourself elevating. Yay, it's like a heart balloon. Whee! Tips for changing a cartoon character. Right? Do what? What? Tips for changing to a cartoon character. Well, you mean a cartoon character from like a comic book character? Like, let's say that you have a character that's like this, right? You have a character that has a lot of detail. You're like, well, I am darkness. I am the night. I am artist man. So let's say that you have like this dude. And you're trying to make him into a cartoon, more simplified and stuff. So now we have little demon guy. Okay? So little demon rod right here. These eyebrows and stuff. Let's say I wanted to make a little simple cartoon of him. Well, I'm going to take the base components of what he has. The things that make him stand out are his horns, his mustache, and his eyes and his eyebrows, right? The way that they're combined. So if I take any shape, let's make a simpler shape. In this case, the ultimate simplest shape, a sphere. Draw a circle inside to give myself a guideline. And I'm going to take those horns. I'm going to draw really simple horns. Let's add more detail to these so it looks like a difference. So I'm just going to add a little horn to simplify that horn. The eye, it just seems like this sort of shape, boop, 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 up and down with a little thickness. And the eyes are always going to be a dark line and then overlapping them or intersecting them with a line like this. Think of your eyes like this, right? The moment that you add a darker line on top and your style, you get eyes. Ha ha. Dark line, intersect the line, give whatever styling you want, style. Aha! Eyes. Eyes in 2 lines. Congratulations, you have leveled up your cartooning incredibly. You are no longer going to wonder how to draw eyes. Eyes are just a curvy line with another curvy line intersecting, and then you add your style. Okay? Cool. Awesome. Happy birthday, Christmas stuff. From here, I'm going to simplify it. I'm just going to take away the nose. I'm not even going to draw a nose. I'm just going to draw some eyes. A dark line, intersecting little line, and then my eyebrows. And then I'm just going to give them a mustache. Give them a little ear. And that's how you would simplify something like that. You would start taking away details, start taking away depth, start taking away the sides of the head, start taking away little details that you don't really need, like the nose and stuff like that. And then you end up in a situation where you can simplify something to almost an iconic level. I have found Rodgon helps learning from Stan, Houston. Thank you. Wait, what? I have found Rodgon helps learning from Stan, Houston. Who's Jeff? I learned from Jeff? Who's Jeff? I don't know Jeff. Oh, well, I mean, I've never taken a class from Jeff, but... Oh, no. But yeah. Learning all the tips and tricks will help you understand what they teach you better too. Like, because I know that they use a lot of like the Loomis method and stuff like that, right? So understanding volume, the way that I teach it, will help you understand how to draw the things that they teach you a lot easier too. Is he talking about the instructors at the atelier? Yeah, I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about most art schools, honestly. It's not even just about the atelier. It's like most art schools are just like that. Because most art schools are just for-profit centers. That's literally what they are. Can you explain the difference in going about cartooning versus realism? Yeah, I can do that super simple. Here, cartooning has lines. Normally thick lines. Realism doesn't have lines. Realism has shades. That's it. That's literally the biggest difference. Cartooning is a lot of line work and simplification. Nah, realism isn't. Realism is all about shading and shadows and contrast and, like how to determine the gradations and stuff like that. Right? And little by little, you build it up, and then you like add midtones, and then you add highlights. And little by little, you can build up a character. Right? That is essentially the whole concept of realism. It's more akin of just shades and no lines. There's absolutely no lines when it comes down to realism. It's all about shadows and lighting. So that's the difference between cartooning and realism for the most part. Learning muscle placement, attachments, and flow makes learning real anatomy easier. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like that, learning where your body parts come from. It's like the absolute reason we learn anatomy. Like learning that your hip bones come in an angle allows you to draw your hip bones and draw legs in any way you want. Once you understand the connection point with your body being at an angle, that is the legs. That's literally how legs work. So it's very easy to be able to move that anywhere you want once you understand that, in whatever style you feel like. So that is the trick to hip bones. And then for the top, for the collarbone, you just need to learn how to draw your collarbone so you know where to draw your arms properly. Learning how that happens is just by separating the arm from the body a little bit with a little triangle or something. And that gives you the guidelines that you need for the length of your body. So that's just little tiny tips and tricks. I'm going to call it a day, though, because I need to start getting ready because we are Mexican and we celebrate Christmas Eve instead of Christmas Day. So I need to start getting ready because I got to head out in a couple hours. And I want to get some playtime with my puppy, and I want to take a shower, and I want to do all that stuff. So we didn't even finish the page today. No, we didn't finish it, but we did learn a lot. We talked a little bit about, well, we drew Moostache, first of all. That's what we started our stream. And then somebody asked for Santa. And then we were talking about the body structure and how it can be broken down into two sections at first, right? It can be the hip bones, and it can be the upper body, and then how we can just merge that into one single section if you really, really wanted to, and then slowly learn how to make different sections from this. And eventually you get to the point where you'll be able to divide it into three. And the circle, it takes the first two of them in there. So eventually you'll be able to use that to be able to pose your characters and change the sizing of them to make them look much, 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 much more dynamic. Yay! Anyways, I hope you guys have a fantastic Christmas. I hope you guys have a lovely day with your families and your friends and your loved ones. And if you don't have anybody to spend the time with, I hope that you guys have a fantastic evening by yourself. Being by yourself is not a bad thing. Sometimes it's better than being around people that you don't trust or love. So I highly, highly suggest that you guys practice isolation when you guys feel like you guys aren't part of your groups. There's nothing worse than feeling like you're alone when you're around people. And if you feel like that, then you need to find other people. Okay? Have a wonderful day, everybody. Love you all. Take care. I'll see you guys probably tomorrow for another stream because I don't really do anything on Christmas Day. So I'm going to probably be drawing and eating leftovers and stuff like that. So I'll see you guys. If you guys want to go learn more and you guys are bored today, you guys can go to my YouTube channel. I have like 400 videos. If you guys feel like supporting, I have books. If you guys want to just have something cool that draw on there, you guys can buy the art block books. Those are good. There's a pinup book with all these sexy ladies. It's like 100 pages of ladies if you guys want that. There's a coffee break doodles, which is a bunch of random little fun drawings from my career. And the art block books are just entire collections of just doodles like this, hundreds and thousands of sketches just to help you get out of whatever little block you have and help you just break out of that with a big like, pah. So, Merry Christmas. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys sometime soon. Take care.